Dr. Olivia Reeves wiped the sweat from her brow as she carefully brushed away centuries of dust from the peculiar object before her. The scorching sun of the Egyptian desert beat down mercilessly on the archaeological dig site, but Olivia barely noticed. Her entire focus was on the small, metallic sphere that gleamed with an otherworldly sheen despite its age. "Professor Reeves, you might want to see this," called out her assistant, Ethan, from a nearby excavation pit. Olivia reluctantly tore her gaze away from the sphere and made her way over to where Ethan stood, his expression a mixture of excitement and bewilderment. As she peered into the pit, her breath caught in her throat. There, partially exposed in the sand, was a massive stone slab covered in intricate carvings unlike anything she had ever seen before. "What do you make of it, Professor?" Ethan asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Olivia shook her head, her mind racing. "I'm not sure, Ethan. These symbols, they're not hieroglyphs, not cuneiform, not any ancient script I've ever encountered." As she studied the carvings more closely, Olivia felt a strange tingling sensation at the base of her skull. It was as if the symbols were calling out to her, trying to convey a message that her conscious mind couldn't quite grasp. She reached out to touch the stone, her fingers trembling slightly. The moment her skin made contact with the cool surface, a jolt of energy surged through her body. Olivia gasped, stumbling backward as images flooded her mind, vast starfields, alien worlds, and creatures beyond imagination. Just as quickly as it had begun, the vision faded, leaving her disoriented and breathless. "Professor! Are you all right?" Ethan's concerned voice brought her back to reality. Olivia blinked, trying to clear her head. "Yes, I'm fine. Just a bit overwhelmed. We need to get this slab back to the lab for further study." As they carefully excavated the stone slab, Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled upon something far more significant than just another archaeological find. The sphere she had discovered earlier seemed to pulse with an inner light, as if responding to the uncovering of the slab. Over the next few weeks, Olivia and her team worked tirelessly to decipher the strange symbols on the stone. Traditional methods of translation proved fruitless, and even the most advanced computer algorithms failed to make sense of the intricate patterns. It was during one late night of frustration that Olivia had a breakthrough. As she absent-mindedly rolled the metallic sphere between her palms, she felt that familiar tingle at the base of her skull. On a whim, she placed the sphere on top of the stone slab. The effect was immediate and astounding. The symbols on the slab began to glow with an ethereal blue light, and the sphere levitated a few inches above the surface. Olivia watched in awe as the carvings seemed to rearrange themselves before her eyes, forming new patterns and shapes. Suddenly, a holographic projection burst forth from the sphere, filling the lab with swirling galaxies and alien star charts. In the center of it all stood a figure, humanoid in shape but clearly not of Earth. Its skin shimmered with an iridescent quality, and its eyes held depths of wisdom that seemed to span millennia. The being spoke, its voice resonating not through the air but directly in Olivia's mind. "Greetings, seeker of knowledge. You have awakened the Nexus, a repository of cosmic wisdom left behind by the guardians of old." Olivia's scientific mind reeled at the implications. What are you?" she managed to ask, her voice barely above a whisper. The holographic figure smiled, an expression both familiar and alien. "I am but an echo, a guide to help you understand the legacy of the Guardians. They were an ancient race that watched over the galaxies, protecting the balance of life and consciousness throughout the cosmos." As the being spoke, images flashed through the holographic display, showing civilizations rising and falling, stars being born and dying, and the intricate web of energy that connected all living things. "But why reveal this to us now?" Olivia asked, her curiosity overcoming her initial shock. The figure's expression grew solemn. "Because a great darkness approaches, one that threatens not just your world, but all worlds. The Guardians foresaw this threat and left behind tools, like the Nexus, to help younger races defend themselves. Olivia's mind raced with questions, but before she could voice them, the hologram continued. You, Olivia Reeves, have been chosen. The Nexus has recognized in you the potential to unlock the greatest power in the universe, the power of consciousness itself. Me? But I'm just an archaeologist, Olivia protested, feeling overwhelmed by the weight of this revelation. The figure's eyes seemed to peer into her very soul. You are far more than that, Olivia. Within you lies the spark of something greater, a connection to the cosmic consciousness that binds all living things. The Nexus will help you awaken this power, but the journey will not be easy. As if on cue, the lab's computers began to light up, screens filling with data streams and complex equations. Olivia realized with a start that the Nexus was interfacing with their technology, upgrading it far beyond current human capabilities. You must prepare, the holographic guide urged. The enemy that comes does not just seek conquest, they seek to extinguish the very essence of consciousness itself. They are the void, consumers of thought and emotion, leaving only emptiness in their wake. Images of worlds being engulfed in darkness flashed across the holographic display, each one winking out like a candle snuffed by an unseen force. Olivia felt a chill run down her spine as she grasped the magnitude of the threat. How can I possibly stand against something like that? She asked, her voice trembling. The figure's expression softened. You will not stand alone. The power within you, once awakened, has the potential to unite all of humanity. And you will need that unity to face what is to come. As the hologram began to fade, the being left Olivia with a final message. Seek out others, Olivia. There are those among your kind who also carry the spark. Together, you must learn to harness the power of the Nexus and prepare your world for the coming storm. With those words, the holographic display vanished, leaving Olivia alone in the lab with the softly glowing sphere and slab. Her mind whirled with the implications of what she had just learned. The fate of not just Earth, but countless worlds, now rested on her shoulders. As the first rays of dawn began to peek through the lab windows, Olivia made a decision. She couldn't keep this discovery to herself. The world needed to know, to prepare. But she also knew that such knowledge could be dangerous in the wrong hands. With trembling fingers, she picked up her phone and dialed a number she never thought she'd use, a direct line to the highest levels of government. As the phone rang, Olivia took a deep breath, steeling herself for the conversation that would change the course of human history. This is Dr. Olivia Reeves, she said as the line connected. I need to speak with the president immediately. It's a matter of global security. As she waited to be connected, Olivia's gaze fell upon the Nexus sphere, still pulsing with an inner light. She realized that her life's work had led her to this moment, preparing her for a role she never could have imagined. The fate of humanity now rested in her hands, and she was determined not to let the Guardian's faith in her be misplaced. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, but as the first stirrings of that cosmic power flickered within her consciousness, Olivia felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had faced extinction before and survived. With the power of the Nexus and the united will of Earth's people, perhaps they stood a chance against the encroaching void. As the phone clicked and a voice on the other end asked for her credentials, Olivia took one last look at the artifacts before her. The awakening had begun, and with it, the greatest adventure in human history was about to unfold. The Endeavour's engines hummed softly as it glided through the inky blackness of space. Captain Arya Morgan stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The recent encounter with the Xerians had left her crew shaken, but determined. Status report, Arya commanded, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. Lieutenant Sienna Velasquez, her tactical officer, responded promptly. All systems operational, Captain. No sign of Xerian activity in the sector. Arya nodded, but her brow remained furrowed. The Xerians' ultimatum still echoed in her mind. They needed allies, and fast. As if on cue, Ambassador Talos entered the bridge, his usually calm demeanor tinged with excitement. Captain, I believe I've found a potential solution to our predicament. Arya turned to face him, intrigued. Go on, Ambassador. Talos activated a holographic projection, revealing a star system previously unknown to the crew. The Xel'Naga, he began, his voice filled with reverence. A reclusive but highly advanced race. If we can secure their alliance, we might stand a chance against the Xerians. The crew exchanged glances, hope flickering in their eyes for the first time since the Xerian encounter. Arya studied the projection, her mind racing with possibilities. It's risky, she mused aloud. The Xel'Naga are known for their isolationist policies. What makes you think they'll help us? Talos smiled, a glint of confidence in his eyes. Because, Captain, I believe we have something they want. As Talos explained his plan, the crew listened intently. The Xel'Naga, it seemed, were fascinated by unique forms of technology and knowledge. If humanity could offer them something truly extraordinary, they might be willing to form an alliance. Arya considered the proposal, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. Finally, she nodded. Very well, Ambassador. Set a course for the Xel'Naga homeworld. Let's hope your diplomatic skills are as sharp as ever. The journey to the Xel'Naga system was fraught with tension. The crew worked tirelessly to prepare their presentation, gathering the most impressive examples of human innovation and creativity. As they approached the Xel'Naga homeworld, a massive space station came into view. Its architecture was unlike anything they had ever seen, a blend of organic forms and advanced technology that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Incoming transmission, Sienna announced, her voice tight with anticipation. A holographic image flickered to life on the bridge, revealing a Xel'Naga representative. The alien's form was ethereal, almost translucent, with eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies. Greetings, humans, the Xel'Naga spoke, its voice resonating in their minds rather than their ears. We have been observing your approach. State your purpose. Ambassador Talos stepped forward, his posture respectful but confident. Esteemed Xel'Naga, we come seeking an alliance. We bring with us the fruits of human ingenuity and creativity, hoping to exchange knowledge and forge a partnership that will benefit both our peoples. The Xel'Naga's eyes seemed to flicker with interest. Intriguing. You may dock at our station. We will evaluate your offerings. As the transmission ended, a collective sigh of relief swept through the bridge. They had passed the first test, but the real challenge was yet to come. The docking procedure was tense, with the crew marveling at the advanced technology surrounding them. As they disembarked, they were met by a delegation of Xel'Naga, their ethereal forms gliding effortlessly through the station. Ambassador Talos led the presentation, showcasing human art, music, literature, and scientific achievements. The Xel'Naga observed silently, their expressions unreadable. Finally, Arya stepped forward, activating a holographic display of her own. Esteemed Xel'Naga, she began, her voice strong and clear. We offer you not just our past achievements, but our potential. Humanity's greatest strength lies in our ability to adapt, to innovate in the face of adversity. She gestured to her crew, each member standing tall and proud. We are explorers, dreamers, and creators. Our diversity is our strength, our curiosity our driving force. Together, we believe we can achieve greatness beyond imagination. As Arya spoke, the Xel'Naga's eyes began to glow with an inner light. When she finished, there was a moment of profound silence. Then, to everyone's amazement, the lead Xel'Naga stepped forward. Captain Arya Morgan, it spoke, its voice filled with a newfound respect. Your words have stirred something within us. We sense in your species a potential that aligns with our own pursuit of knowledge and growth. The Xel'Naga turned to address the entire human delegation. We accept your proposal of alliance. Together, we shall face the challenges that lie ahead. As the words sank in, a wave of elation swept through the human crew. They had done it. Against all odds, they had secured an alliance that could turn the tide against the Xerian threat. Arya allowed herself a small smile, but she knew this was just the beginning. The real test would come when they faced the Xerians in battle. But now, with the Xel'Naga at their side, they had a fighting chance. As they prepared to depart the Xel'Naga station, Arya gazed out at the stars, a newfound determination burning in her heart. The power of humanity, she realized, lay not just in their technology or their weapons, but in their spirit, their unbreakable will to survive and thrive against all odds. The journey ahead would be perilous, but with their new allies and their unwavering resolve, Arya knew that humanity was ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy might throw their way. The Vexari Armada loomed ominously in Earth's orbit, their massive ships casting long shadows across the planet's surface. Captain Nora Chen stood on the bridge of the Endeavour, her jaw set with determination as she surveyed the holographic display of the battlefield. "All ships, report in," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. One by one, the captains of Earth's defense fleet checked in, their voices a mix of tension and resolve. The Luminari ships, sleek and otherworldly, took up flanking positions alongside the human vessels. Ambassador Zhen approached Nora, his usually calm demeanor replaced by a look of grim determination. "Captain, the Vexari have issued their final ultimatum. They demand our immediate surrender." Nora's eyes narrowed. "And if we refuse?" "Total annihilation," Zhen replied, his voice barely above a whisper. Nora took a deep breath, her mind racing through their options. The odds were stacked against them, but humanity had come too far to give up now. "Open a channel to all ships," she ordered. As the communication link crackled to life, Nora addressed the combined fleet, her voice ringing with conviction. "This is Captain Nora Chen. Today, we face our greatest challenge. The Vexari seek to destroy not just our world, but our very existence. But they underestimate the power of unity, the strength that comes from fighting for those we love." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We are not just fighting for Earth. We are fighting for the right of all species to live free from tyranny. Remember why we're here. Remember what we're fighting for. Together, we will show the Vexari the true power of humanity and our allies." A chorus of cheers erupted across the communication channels. Nora nodded to her tactical officer, Lieutenant Raj Patel. "Initiate Battle Plan Omega. All ships, engage at will." The space around Earth erupted into chaos as the two fleets clashed. Beams of energy crisscrossed the void, and explosions bloomed like deadly flowers against the backdrop of stars. The Endeavour dove into the fray, its advanced weapons systems, enhanced by Luminari technology, tearing through Vexari defenses. Nora called out orders rapid fire, coordinating the movements of the Allied fleet with precision. On the planet's surface, ground forces led by Commander Ilara Voss fought desperately to repel Vexari landing parties. The streets of major cities became battlegrounds, with human and alien allies fighting side by side against the invaders. As the battle raged on, it became clear that despite their valiant efforts, the Allied forces were being pushed back. The Vexari's superior numbers and firepower were slowly but surely overwhelming them. Just when all seemed lost, a transmission came through from Earth's surface. It was Dr. Heron Lin, his face streaked with dirt and sweat. "Captain Chen. We've done it. We've activated the Nexus." Nora's eyes widened. The Nexus, an ancient artifact discovered months ago, had been their last, desperate hope. "What's happening, Doctor?" As if in answer to her question, a brilliant light began to emanate from the planet's surface. It spread rapidly, enveloping the Earth in a shimmering, translucent shield. The effect on the Vexari ships was immediate and devastating. As the light touched their vessels, systems began to fail, and ships started to drift aimlessly in space. "It's working!" Raj exclaimed, his voice filled with awe. "The Nexus is disrupting their technology." Nora didn't waste a moment. All ships, press the advantage. Take out their command vessels. The Allied fleet surged forward, cutting through the now defenseless Vexery ships with ease. On the planet's surface, the invading forces found themselves suddenly without support, their advanced weapons rendered useless. As the last Vexery ship fell, a deafening cheer went up across all communication channels. Nora allowed herself a moment of relief before turning to her crew. Well done, everyone. But our work isn't finished yet. Let's make sure Earth is secure. In the days that followed, the true scale of their victory became apparent. The Vexery threat had been neutralized, and Earth had survived. But the cost had been high, with cities in ruins and countless lives lost. As Nora stood in the rubble of what had once been New York City, she felt a mix of emotions, relief, sorrow, and a deep sense of responsibility. Ambassador Jean approached her, a datapad in his hand. "Captain," he said softly, "representatives from a dozen new species have reached out to us. They've heard of our victory and want to discuss alliances." Nora nodded, a small smile tugging at her lips. "It seems our little coalition is growing. Set up the meetings, Ambassador. We have a galaxy to rebuild." As she looked up at the sky, no longer filled with the threat of invasion but with the promise of a new era, Nora realized that this was just the beginning. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage, and now it was time to lead the way towards a future of peace and cooperation. The power of humanity, she mused, wasn't just in their ability to fight. It was in their capacity to unite, to inspire, and to forge a path forward even in the darkest of times. And that, she knew, was a power that would carry them far beyond the stars. The grand hall of the newly constructed Galactic Council chamber buzzed with anticipation. Representatives from dozens of alien races filled the room, their diverse forms a testament to the new era of cooperation that had dawned in the wake of the Vexery War. At the center of it all stood Captain Nora Chen, now Admiral Chen, her uniform adorned with the insignia of Earth's United Fleet. Beside her, Ambassador Jean wore an expression of quiet pride as he surveyed the gathered delegates. "It's time," Jean murmured, nodding towards the podium. Nora took a deep breath and stepped forward. The room fell silent as she began to speak, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. "Distinguished representatives, allies, and friends," she began, her eyes sweeping across the assembly. "A year ago, we faced extinction at the hands of the Vexery. We stood on the brink of annihilation, our worlds burning, our people suffering. But we did not fall." She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. "Instead, we rose. We united. Species that had never before cooperated found common ground in the face of a shared threat. And together, we achieved the impossible." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Nora continued, her voice growing stronger. "But our victory came at a great cost. Countless lives were lost, worlds were scarred, and the scars of war still run deep across our galaxy. We must not, forget the price of our freedom." She gestured to the holographic display behind her, which showed images of reconstruction efforts across various planets. "Yet even in our darkest hour, we found hope. We discovered strengths we never knew we had. And now, as we stand here today, we have an opportunity, no, a responsibility, to build something greater than we ever imagined." The holographic display shifted, showing a grand space station orbiting a distant star. "I present to you Project Harmony," Nora announced. "A joint endeavor that will unite our technologies, our knowledge, and our spirits. This station will serve as a beacon of cooperation, a place where all species can come together to learn, to grow, and to forge a better future for us all." Excited whispers broke out among the delegates. Nora raised her hand, calling for silence once more. "But Project Harmony is more than just a space station. It is a symbol of our commitment to peace, to understanding, and to the belief that together, we are stronger than we could ever be apart." She looked out at the sea of faces before her, seeing hope, determination, and a shared vision for the future. The road ahead will not be easy. We will face challenges, disagreements, and obstacles. But if our struggle against the Vexery taught us anything, it's that there is no force in the universe more powerful than unity. Nora's voice swelled with emotion as she delivered her final words. Today, we take the first step towards a new era. An era of exploration, of discovery, and of unprecedented cooperation. The galaxy is vast, and there is so much we have yet to learn. But together, united in purpose and spirit, there is nothing we cannot achieve. As she finished speaking, the chamber erupted into applause. Species that had once been bitter enemies now stood side by side, cheering and celebrating their shared vision for the future. In the days that followed, work on Project Harmony began in earnest. Ships from a dozen worlds converged on the chosen star system, bringing materials, technology, and eager minds ready to contribute to the grand endeavor. Nora found herself at the heart of it all, coordinating efforts, mediating disputes, and constantly pushing for greater cooperation. It was exhausting work, but every time she saw members of different species working together, sharing ideas, and forging new friendships, she knew it was worth it. One evening, as she stood in the observation deck of her ship, watching the fledgling structure of Project Harmony take shape against the backdrop of stars, Ambassador Jean joined her. "Quite a sight, isn't it?" he remarked, his eyes twinkling with pride. Nora nodded, a smile playing on her lips. "It's more than I ever dreamed possible," she admitted. "When we first encountered the Vexery, I feared it was the end of everything. I never imagined it would lead to this." Jean placed a hand on her shoulder. "That's the power of humanity, Nora. You have an extraordinary ability to inspire, to bring out the best in others. It's why the Luminari chose to ally with us, why so many races now look to Earth for leadership." Nora turned to face him, her expression serious. "We bear a great responsibility now, Jean. We must ensure that we never become what we fought against. That we always remember the values that brought us here." Jean nodded solemnly. "Indeed. But I have faith, in you, in humanity, and in the alliance we've built. Together, we will forge a future brighter than any single race could achieve alone." As they stood there, watching the birth of a new era, Nora felt a sense of peace wash over her. The journey had been long and fraught with peril, but they had emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. The power of humanity, she realized, wasn't just in their resilience or their ingenuity. It was in their capacity to dream, to hope, and to inspire others to reach for the stars. And as long as they held true to those ideals, there was no limit to what they could achieve. The future stretched out before them, vast and full of possibilities. And humanity, once a small, isolated species on a tiny blue planet, now stood ready to lead the way into a new age of galactic cooperation and discovery. As the first lights of Project Harmony flickered to life, illuminating the darkness of space, N.